Apart from his widespread notoriety, El Chapo is famous for pulling one of the most fascinating prison escapes of all time. Although his escape did not last long, he pulled off the trick well, using a tunnel. Currently, he's been incarcerated in the US, where he possibly cannot drill any tunnel underground. So, how fascinating was this prison tunnel? Note, the Mexican government has denied everyone from taking a full view of the tunnel from the bathroom down the 1 mile to the house. On the night of July 11, 2015, Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman slipped through a hole in the floor of his cell's shower and, thanks to some complex engineering and security lapses, pulled off the second jailbreak of his criminal career. It was the summer of 2015 and Sinaloa cartel leader Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was locked up in El Altiplano, a maximum security prison near the city of Toluca that houses many of Mexico's most notorious drug lords. He didn't plan to stay for long. El Chapo had been captured less than a year earlier in February 2014 after more than 13 years on the run. But almost immediately, according to testimony delivered by his former lieutenant, Damaso Lopez Nunez, Chapo began plotting a daring escape. It involved digging a mile-long tunnel from a shack outside the prison to the shower inside Chapo's cell. Everything was going according to plan, but Lopez had to explain to Chapo that it took time to finish the tunnel. 2015 escape was Chapo's most legendary feat, but the full story of how the tunnel was built, exactly how Chapo escaped, the massive bribe that was allegedly paid, and the details of what happened afterward weren't told until Lopez, also known as El Licenciado, took the witness stand during El Chapo's trial at the U.S. District Court in Brooklyn. And for the first time, Lopez claimed that El Chapo's wife, Emma Coronel, was allegedly a key player in the escape, coordinating the plot with the drug lord's sons. Lopez was a damning witness that described multiple murders that were allegedly committed on Chapo's orders and corroborated previous testimony about Chapo's 2001 escape from another maximum security prison, where Lopez was once the deputy director in charge of security in a laundry cart. But the tale about the mile-long tunnel was by far the most compelling moment on the witness stand for Lopez. Prosecutors showed several letters that Chapo wrote to Lopez from prison following his capture on February 22, 2017. The letters show Chapo scrambling to keep his empire from crumbling and hatching plans to escape. Chapo wrote, "I wanted to tell you that, although nothing is easy, in a way I have gotten lucky because the director is very kind to me. He has helped me when I have asked. Please be alert, compadre," she will explain. Lopez testified that he subsequently met with Chapo's wife, who asked him to send someone to Toluca to help with errands. Lopez dispatched his brother-in-law, whom he said had been having meetings with some guards, and he was paying them. Lopez said he had another meeting in May or June of 2014 with Coronel and several of Chapo's sons, known as Los Chapitos, who were now leading the Sinaloa cartel along with Lopez. They allegedly discussed acquiring land near the prison, and Coronel allegedly passed along the message that Chapo had asked Lopez to acquire weapons and an armored pickup truck to use during the escape. He also said they conspired to smuggle a smartwatch into the prison, which would be used to provide the GPS coordinates for Chapo's cell so that they could connect the tunnel from the adjacent property. By July 2015, everything was in place. Chapo planned to make his move on a weekend when there would be less personnel at the prison. Video footage from inside Chapo's cell on the day of the escape shows him ducking behind a small dividing wall that separated his sleeping area from the shower. Then he vanishes. Guzman's henchmen digging under the Altiplano high-security prison west of Mexico City initially came up in the wrong cell, missing their target. Correcting that mistake, however, didn't appear to be too much trouble for Guzman's accomplices. The Sinaloa cartel said it wasn't a difficult task at all. Well, this is how it all started. According to reports, El Chapo had his sons buy a piece of land near the prison, which allowed them to construct a tunnel from which the drug lord could then escape. They also purchased a warehouse near the Altiplano prison, including an armored truck and firearms. The tunnel is quite the engineering genius, measuring 5.5 feet tall and wide enough to take a motorcycle. From his toilet, the tunnel went down so deep that ground detection was useless. In fact, the tunnel had all sorts of necessities, including electricity and other measures to safeguard the lives of the workers. Wood was placed to maintain the surface structure above the tunnels, and the lighting system allowed the diggers to see clearly what they were doing. Considered to be a mile long, it's estimated that the digging took more than a year to complete, which informs a structural form of engineering. El Chapo has well been known to be a master at digging, where his numerous drug routes were majorly underground and undetected. From the 1-mile-away location, the tunnel had something like a common room where all tools were gathered: buckets, shovels, and even clothes. Above the head were wooden boards that seemed to support the earth from falling in. A generator was also in the vicinity, but the actual tunnel that led into the prison and El Chapo's bathroom was a few feet away. It was widely reported at the time that Chapo used a motorcycle mounted on a rail to ride through the tunnel, which was also equipped with lighting and ventilation. But Lopez offered more details. He said that one of Coronel's brothers was driving the motorcycle, which was towed by some type of pulley system. According to Lopez, once Chapo reached the exit to the tunnel, there was an ATV waiting to take him to a nearby warehouse that the cartel had acquired for use during the escape. Chapo boarded a small airplane flown by his most trusted pilot and was whisked away to the city of San Juan del Rio in the neighboring state of Querétaro. From there, Chapo flew back to his hometown of La Tuna in the mountains of Sinaloa. The witness said that a week after the escape, he came to visit Chapo, who was relaxing at a palatial house on a mountaintop that overlooks La Tuna and the surrounding valley. The estate was called El Cielo, translated as the sky. Lopez said Chapo's co-leader of the Sinaloa cartel, Ismael Almayo Zambada, was present for the reunion, along with Chapo's sons and other key members of the cartel. Chapo didn't remain free for long, however. He was recaptured in January 2016 after a shootout with Mexican Marines in the city of Los Mochis and promptly sent back to the prison from whence he came. Once again, Lopez testified Chapo passed a message through his wife that he was going to make a huge effort to escape again. Lopez testified that in order to facilitate the last escape attempt, the cartel delivered a $2 million bribe to the chief of Mexico's prison system. He did not identify the official alleged to have received the bribe by name. The final escape plan never materialized. Chapo was transferred to another prison in Ciudad Juarez, across the border from El Paso, Texas, where he was held until his extradition to the United States in January 2017. On cross-examination, Lopez, the witness, acknowledged that he was not privy to all the details of the escape plan. He said he merely helped with planning and logistics, but was not involved in the actual excavation of the tunnel. He said, "I never knew, not even about one shovel of earth that was removed there. His sons were doing that." Chapo's lawyer, Eduardo Balarezo, asked why they didn't just attempt to repeat the laundry cart escape from 2001. He referenced the mile-long tunnel, the motorcycle, the airplane, and asked Lopez, "It's pretty spectacular, right?" And Lopez replied, "It's very real." If the escape was as easy as Lopez supposedly described it, it means the network of corruption by narco-trafficking in El Altiplano was larger than how the government of Enrique Peña Nieto painted it. Guzman's escape in July, considered to be the price of which likely ran into the low millions when bribes are factored in, set off a hunt for his accomplices within Mexico's prison and law enforcement systems. More than 40 people were arrested in connection with the escape, including 8 prison staffers and 15 federal agents. The webs of corruption and connections built by kingpins like Guzman are what allows his ilk to construct international drug trafficking networks, often acting with impunity in parts of Mexico. Undoubtedly, he pulled off a fascinating prison escape. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe for more content coming your way.